Hello and welcome to Football Friday Night. I'm Nate Wimbley, joined by Cam Gaskins. It's week 3. We just got started with this season, and there were a handful of conference games tonight.
Yeah, Nate, down in the South Piedmont 3A, we had Concord and Robinson looking to get a head start on the rest of the field as they met at Bailey Stadium. We'll got highlights of that one, plus the Football Friday Night game of the week, Independence at West Charlotte. I'm not trying to spoil anything, but you're going to want to stick around for that one.
Yeah, but we start tonight with a South Point Belmont at Charlotte Christian. At halftime of this game, Charlotte Christian honored former head coach Jason Eastep, who retired after last season. He won 8 state titles as head coach. It was good to see Coach tonight. Christian would take the early 6-0 lead, but South Point would come back with the passing game. Say what? The Red Raiders are known for their red bone offense, but this 37-yard reception by Peyton McCarn set up a touchdown run for Patrick Blee. 2-point conversion made it 8-6 South Point, folks. If you hadn't heard the name Micah Gilbert, here's your introduction to one of the best wide receivers in our area. Let's start with a 53-yard reception as he would get deep into South Point territory. On 4th and goal, Owen Farrell going to Gilbert for the touchdown. Knights back up 13-8. After the Red Raiders turnover deep in their own territory, time to dial up Gilbert again, and he's out there making it look easy. It's now 20-8. But South Point would get back to their bread and butter, pounding the rock. Harrison McKinney pounds his way in for the 5-yard score. The back and forth battle continues right before the half. Christian Van scores for Charlotte Christian, but South Point is not done yet, and it's back to the air. Say what? Bleed to Garrett Tidd. If South Point can throw it like this consistently with that running game, they are going to be a handful this season, folks. At the half, Coach Chris James Knights were up by 5. The back and forth battle continued in the second half, and in the end, Christian prevailed 41-36. A great ball game right there.
All right, now time to get to the Football Friday Night game of the week, Independence at West Charlotte. And this one, folks, was our game of the week for a reason. Patriots and the Lions putting on a show in front of a packed house at Jack Martin Stadium tonight. Now, the Big Eye got the scoring started in this one. Justin Little is going to roll to his right, buy some time, and then he heaves it to the end zone, connecting with Brian Crowder in the corner of the end zone. Pats on top, 7-0. West Charlotte ties things up and then takes the lead with some defense in the first quarter. A handful of Lions get to Little. He coughs up the football. Jaden Smith runs it all the way back for a touchdown. Dub C up 14-7 now. DJ McFadden having some words of encouragement for Little after the turnover, and the message was received. Tie game in the third quarter. Indy unties it. Look at the grab from Chance Bradley going up, getting that ball. It's 20-14 after a mixed extra point, which ends up being big. West Charlotte down 6. Here's how this one ends. Katie Smith to Rakeem Finch, hauling it in just like that. The Lions stun the Patriots on the last-minute touchdown. Dub C wins this one 21-20. First 3-0 start for the Lions since 2010. What a game.
Big win there for Dub C. Robinson at Concord in South Piedmont 3A conference play. First quarter, Brian Rowe drops the punt right here as he catches it and puts it on the ground, but a lot of times that's when the defenders get out of position, and there goes Rowe. Down the sideline, a cut right there, and folks, that's a 6-0 lead for Robinson. Second quarter, Kenyon Phillips for Concord. He's going to roll out, and he's going to throw it up, but it's going to be picked off by Cameron Tucker, and Robinson is in business again. Robinson with the ball right now. Isaac Lee, he's going to keep it himself, and he's going to find his way into the end zone. The ball comes out, but it's still ruled a touchdown. It's 13-0 Robinson. How about some more Robinson offense? Is Isaac Lee throwing it to a wide open Xavier Burnett, 20-0. The final in this one, Robinson won 40-0. They are 1-0 in conference.
A lot of great games so far. Stick around, though. It's time to take our first time out on the show. When we come back, though, we have a good one out in Union County between West Forsyth and Weddington. Stay with us.
Want sports betting? Watch and wager on your teams in our sportsbook. Then grab a bite from the Little Cafe or our food truck to refuel. Plus, a new member wins $1,000 in cash every day. Cash is king, and you could win up to $40,000 cash. Play on Saturdays to activate your entries. Take exit 5 off 85. Two Kings is your everyday getaway.
This is how we roll at the Nearest Green Distillery. You can taste the love in every drop. Uncle Nearest Premium Whiskey.
There's never been a better time to get away. With a great deal on the Hyundai you've always wanted. With America's best warranty and up to 3 years complimentary maintenance. It's your journey. Own every mile at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Now's the time to get in and get away. Get up to $2,500 bonus cash on the Tucson or lease for just $289 a month. Hurry, offer ends September 5th.
Start your day with Mary King and Alex Giles on WBTV News This Morning.
We've got you covered. Sell, buy home loans. OfferPad can help you do it all. In fact, we can bundle everything for you. Sell this home, buy your next, and include a home loan. You could save thousands.
OfferPad, your all-in-one way to sell, buy, mortgage a home.
This summer, happiness is a new Chevy. You can go farther, tow more, and bring along everyone you love. Your road to happiness begins in a new Chevy. Get 1.9% financing on all 2023 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab LT Turbo Max pickups, or get $6,000 total cash allowance when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
You're gonna love the Labor Day sale at Badcock Home Furniture and More. Up to 50% off store-wide. Plus, 4 days only, we'll pay your sales tax. This 5-piece dining room set, $499. This beautiful queen bed, $699. Save $400 on this 2-piece sectional. Buy select Sealy mattress sets and get a free LG TV. You'll love this Labor Day sale. Up to 50% off. Easy finance options plus 4 days only. September 1st through the 4th, we'll pay your sales tax. Badcock Home Furniture and More.
We've got you covered. Sell, buy home loans. OfferPad can help you do it all. We can bundle everything for you. Sell this home, buy your next, and include a home loan. You could save thousands.
Nice.
OfferPad, your all-in-one way to sell, buy, mortgage a home.
If you've been hurt on the job, call DeMayo offices. It won't cost you anything to see if we can help.
Welcome back. Out in Union County, 2-0 West Forsyth took on 2-0 Weddington. And these two teams met last season with the Warriors winning. That victory was the start of a 12-game winning streak that took the Warriors all the way to the 4A Western Regional Final.
So you know this was going to be a good one on tap down in Weddington. Perked this one up in the first quarter. Tyler Budge finding freshman Anthony Barino wide open in the end zone for the touchdown to trim the early West Forsyth lead to 8-7. Titans respond though on the next possession, driving all the way down and capping the drive off with a Come On Chaplin touchdown, putting them up 14-7. Back and forth affair. Budge finding Nick Diamond for another long touchdown pass. They missed the extra point though, so the Warriors down 14-13. Second quarter action now after a field goal to go up by 2. Weddington driving again. Budge making it look too easy. Beautiful ball to Diamond, getting down the field into Titan territory. That sets up a 4th and goal try. Backup quarterback Ian McDermott sells the jump pass to UNC commit Keenan Jackson, putting the Warriors up 23-14 with 18 seconds left in the first half. And Weddington goes on to cruise in the second half. They win this one 44-22 over West Forsyth.
We've reached halftime here on the show, but so much more to get to, including 2 rivalry games in Cleveland County, Kings Mountain at Burns, Crest at Shelby. We also have highlights of the big one between Charlotte Catholic and Providence Day.
We've got highlights of a lot more than that too. 9 more games in addition to those you just saw coming. And if you want to stream the second half of the show, here's what you got to do. Just head over to WBTV.com/live, or if you have an Apple TV, Fire TV, Roku, or Facebook, download our app. Super easy. You can pull out your phone right now. We'll give you a couple of seconds to do it. Go to WBTV.com. A lot of different ways to catch the show. Want to make sure you can see all of these highlights and scores. It's super easy. We'll give you a little bit of time here. We hope to see you for the second half when we switch on over to these streaming platforms.
Folks, it is super easy. Here's the cheat code. If you got the WBTV app, I'm watching it right now. If you got the WBTV app on your phone, if you do is just hit that app and then click Watch Live, and boom, it's right there, folks. Trust it. This is the cheat code. This is the cheat code.
It's that easy. It really is.
It's just that easy. So we will see you in a few minutes for the second half of Football Friday. A lot to get to, and we got to talk about a couple things tonight with Independence and with Chambers that happen. So you want to come, you want to see the second half. You don't want to miss the second half of the show. See you in a few minutes. Welcome to the second half of Football Friday night. Let's get back to the action with Watauga at Maiden. That's a 4A team in Watauga at 2A Maiden, but don't think the Blue Devils don't have a shot at beating the Pioneers.
Yeah, last year Maiden beat Watauga 23-19 up in Boone, so Pioneers beware. Our Steve Onosorge was at this one and has all the highlights.
The Maiden Blue Devils are a young team this year. Wait a second, that's the Rec League team. This is the Blue Devil squad. 26 seniors graduated last year. These guys would have their hands full tonight. The Watauga Pioneers are loaded. 2 big wins already, looking for a third. They got off to a hot start. That's Jackson Pryor. That's a TD. Touchdown. But the Blue Devils struck back quickly. Down deep, they score on the next play. That woke up the Pioneers. Jackson Pryor with another nice catch, and check out that run. It led to this Maddox Green TD, and Watauga is back on top. That continued into the second quarter. Another Green TD. Green can do it with his arm, too. What a catch! Leads to another TD. But with seconds left in the half, the Blue Devils make it a game with this TD. Maybe it was Maiden's youth or the age of this chain gang.
How long you been doing this? 56 years.
But just seconds left was all Watauga needed to break through again. They lead 34-14 at the half.
Touchdown.
Second half, Pioneers content with running the ball, moving the clock. By the fourth quarter, they had a 26-point lead. The Blue Devils did not lay down. They kept fighting. Fans kept cheering. But this game was just out of reach. Watauga stays undefeated with a 47-21 win. At Maiden High School, Steve Onosorge for Football Friday night.
So a nice win there for Watauga. In Charlotte tonight, a game that had the eyes of the nation upon it. Charlotte Catholic at Providence Day.
Yeah, Nate, this game was televised on ESPNU, and with pretty good reason. All the big-time talent on the field in this one. Providence Day with guys like Jaden Davis at quarterback, who's heading to Michigan. Catholic has tight end Jack Larson, who is headed to Notre Dame. So no shortage of star power in this one.
Hey, folks, let's get to the highlights. And Providence Day was ready for prime time. Catholic was not, as it was all charges in this one. Down inside 2 minutes of the first half. And check out the pass from Jaden Davis. That's a great pass and catch for the touchdown. Chargers up 20-0. Now on to the third. Davis not done showing out. Drops an absolute dime to Jalen Hines. Providence Day up big. Now Providence Day can run the ball as well, which makes them really tough to defend. Ian Klein, they're going to take the handoff right here, and it picks his way into the end zone. Jaden Davis was 19 of 26 passes for 264 yards and 3 touchdowns. Providence Day won 42-7 on national TV. Ouch.
Next up, we got Central Cabarrus taking on the aforementioned Mount Pleasant Tigers. I guess it's Hawaiian night in the student section tonight. Third quarter here, 4th down, Colin Black throwing it. Ethan Dempsey comes down with it for a nice first down pickup. Fourth quarter, that's going to set up a Bo Barbie touchdown. Pounding in the rock, finding pay dirt. It's 17-14 Mount Pleasant on top. Next up, Caden Klein back to pass. He throws it towards Talon Baker. It bounces off his hands into the hands of Lane Honeycutt for the interception. Ensuing drive, Bo Barbie bounces it outside, makes a man miss. 24-14 lead. Final score here, Mount Pleasant goes on to win this one 31-14 over Central Cabarrus.
How about East Rowan at Salisbury? When we arrived at this game, Salisbury was already up 34-7 in the second quarter. Salisbury with the ball, Jamal Rule. They're going to go up the middle, and a nice game right here. Then it's going to be Mike Jeter. He hits a Deuce Walker. He's going to take it into the end zone for the touchdown. Hornets up 41-7. Salisbury showing a little defense right now. Deuce Walker with the tackle right there. He was everywhere tonight. The Salisbury Hornets student section, they like what they saw right there. Third quarter, Will Klingler drops back to pass. It's deflected, and it goes into the hands of Sam Blackwelder, who takes it to the 5-yard line, but they could not score. Let's get back to that Salisbury offense. Jeter spins out, hits Deuce Walker, who picks up a first down right here. Then it's going to be Jamal Rule. He's going to break one right here for a huge game. Boy, this Salisbury team is pretty good this year. Once again, folks, you might as well let Rule finish it off since he got it down there. He scores the touchdown. Salisbury wins this game 65-7.
Next up, we got the Piedmont Panthers at the Carson Cougars. Carson taking the field here. Picked this one up in the first quarter. Piedmont with the ball, handoff to Chaz Tanner, who has a convoy in front of him, picks up a first down and then some. Piedmont still with the ball here. Quick pass, Zachary Dilworth to Davis Weicker for another first down. They just keep chugging along on offense. That sets up a field goal to make it 3-0. And then Piedmont again with the ball. Panthers driving. Carson, though, forces a fumble. That's a big momentum swing in this one. Second quarter, Carson with the ball now. Michael Guyton hits Trevor Vaughn on a long pass over the middle. Oh, but an offensive face mask here is going to cost him yards at the end of the play. It's all right, though. Guyton now hits Fade Dyer. Picks up some good yards again. A lot of chunk plays in this one. And then Guyton to Carson Amon in the end zone. They finally get some points here. It's 7-3 here. And Carson goes on to win this one 21-3 over Piedmont tonight.
Hey, time to head out to Cleveland County for a double dose of big-time rivalries. Kings Mountain at Burns and Crest at Shelby. We sent Jordan Sawyers down for the action, and he has the story.
Let's go, Burns Bulldogs and the Kings Mountain Mountaineers. In the first, Bulldogs facing a fourth down. Ben Money back to pass, but the Mountaineers get the sack, force fumble. Kings Mountain ball. Now Kings Mountain going to the air. Zayden Zolo airing it out to Jaqueline Sanders. He comes up with a huge gain. Mountaineers moving. A few plays later, Sanders with the keeper. He sees nothing but green in front of him. Kings Mountain up 7 early on. But don't count out the Bulldogs. Mooney with a keeper. He picks up a first down and more. Burns playing with momentum now. Next, Mooney hits Kamari Surratt for the first down. Then Jeremiah Norris finishes off the drive, but after it was all said and done, a tight contest. The Mountaineers would win this one 23-14. Down the road, the Crest Chargers and the Shelby Golden Lions were battling it out. Crest up early on 20-17 until this score. Lane Farmer hits his receiver. He goes in for a score, plucks it right from the air. On the kickoff, Crest Javaris Green takes it all the way to the house. It's now 27-24. In the third, Natavius Husky goes deep to Green with the defender draped all over him. A few plays later, and Husky looks, but is picked off by the Golden Lions defense. Unfortunately, Shelby couldn't capitalize on the turnovers. Crest would go on to win this one, 53-38. In Cleveland County, I'm Jordan Sawyers for Football Friday Night.
Let's head down to District 3 Stadium in Rock Hill. The Rock Hill Bearcats kicking off against Lancaster. Second play from scrimmage. Lancaster throws it up, but it's going to be picked off by Rock Hill's Caden Watkins. Bearcats get it in good field position, and they decide to go for it on fourth down, but the Bruins would push them back. However, on the ensuing drive after 3 and out, Lancaster looking to punt, but it is blocked. Fortunately, it rolls out the back of the end zone for safety. Very next drive, Rock Hill's Matthew Wilson runs the triple option and pitches it to Kamari Moore, who gets in for the score. Later in the second quarter, this time Wilson shows off his arm. E.J. Ratley is all alone for the touchdown. That made it 16-0 Rock Hill Bearcats. But the Bruins would finally break through before the half. Michael McCollum takes the handoff, bounces it outside. It gets the ball to the 10-yard line. That set up R.J. Brown, who scored on the quarterback keeper. That cut the deficit in half. But with 7 seconds left, Wilson throws the quick out to Dalen Boulware for the score. The Bearcats cheerleaders loving that. And in the fourth quarter, one more time for the future App State Mountaineer. Matthew Wilson goes deep. This time it's Malik Clark on the receiving end. Rock Hill wins this one 36-16, their first win of the season. Congratulations to Coach Bubba Pittman and the Bearcats.
Incredible deep balls there from Wilson. Love to see that arm strength.
That's why he's going to App State.
Exactly. Next up, we're going to keep things south of the border in Indian Land. The Warriors hosting the Palisades Pumas. Palisades gets on the board first with a draw to Fadayin Turner for the touchdown. Extra point makes it a 7-0 first quarter score. Indian Land on third down, or here's that extra point I should say, make it a 7-0 game. Next up, Indian Land with the ball. On third down here, they're going to get stuffed at the line by the Palisades defense. They're going to have to settle for a field goal, though, so they do get some points out of the mix. Makes it a 7-3 ball game. Now, Indian land up with a big defensive play here. Keep an eye on number 24, Terrell Aiken. Woo! He causes the fumble.
Oh.
The ball kicks off his foot. And then, like a good neighbor, Jaden McMillan is there to pick the ball up and run down inside of the 10-yard line. Teamwork makes the dream work, folks.
Absolutely.
And the defense feeds the offense here. Jarek Patolsky is going to scramble, and he finds Devin Davis for the touchdown. Extra point makes it a 10-7 Indian land game going into halftime. And the Warriors hold on in the second half. They win this one tight, 27-26 over Palisades.
Hey, congratulations to Indian land with the big win right there. We have to take our final break here on the show. When we come back, the play of the week, and we take a look at some scores from some games that we were not able to get to in a segment we call What's Up, Nate?
The best high school football coverage is on WBTV's Football Friday Night.
Hey, shoot! What's football Friday night?
Catch all the highlights from the game of the week.
And we'll break down the play of the week everyone will be talking about.
Football Friday Night, Friday at 11:20 only on WBTV.
Election Day is right around the corner, and your vote matters.
WBTV is on your side in Mecklenburg County with in-depth coverage of the races that could be decided early by you.
Everything you need to help you decide is on the WBTV News app right now.
Some very sad news to share with you. A member of the WBTV family who truly was a Charlotte legend has passed away. Steve Crump, who was a reporter at WBTV for more than 3 decades, passed away this morning following a long battle with cancer.
People, told me that, hey, you have a decent voice, you have a gift of gab, and you're a storyteller.
The one that's of most concern is Idalia.
Hurricane Idalia, as it's moving off to the north.
Idalia is going to likely make landfall by tomorrow morning and then make progress towards our direction.
Live team coverage over the next 90 minutes, from preparing for the intense rain across the Carolinas to tracking the damage left in the wake of the storm.
It is coming down heavy here, a torrential downpour.
But what we are seeing now is the wind and the rain coming down.
You can count on WBTV to bring you continuing coverage.
WBTV News This Morning is your newscast to get up, get ready, get out the door, and go take on the day.
Your mornings are busy and every second counts.
So we quickly get you up to speed before you ever head out the door.
We're on your side.
With weather and traffic updates together every 7 minutes for constantly changing conditions.
And the area's only certified most accurate forecast.
A lot can happen while you're sleeping, so from the moment you wake up,
we're here with what you need to know.
WBTV News This Morning.
Weekdays, 4:30 to 7 a.m.
All right, welcome back in, folks. Time for our play of the week coming from our game of the week. Again, 50 seconds left on the clock. West Charlotte stunning Independence. Katie Smith to Rakeem Finch for the go-ahead touchdown. It was a packed house at West Charlotte, and they went crazy after this one. Incredible atmosphere, incredible game. I talked with both head coaches before this morning, and they said this is a series they want to try to keep going for a long time. They understand, what it means for the city to have these two teams playing every single year. And as long as we keep getting games like this, I hope this is a series that goes on for many, many years to come. Again, congrats to the Lions for the 3-0 start to the season. They get this one 21-10 thanks to our play of the week from Rakeem Finch.
This was the rivalry in the city in the 90s. Independence, West Charlotte. When I first got here, that was the rivalry. Then it became a Butler and Independence. But, it's good to see these two teams and this rivalry back. And I hope it does stay. When they got out of the conference, they used to be in the Southwestern 4A together, and that's why they used to play all the time, and that's why it was so big. But once they got outside the conference, that's when the series kind of stopped. But hopefully, yes, we do get to see Independence West Charlotte every year from now on. Now, let's get to some scores, to some games that we didn't get to tonight. And what's up, Nate? Congratulations to Metrolina Christian. They beat Charlotte Latin tonight 35-0 to go to 3-0. One of the biggest wins in that program's history. Latin is now 0-3. but better days are ahead for new head coach Drew Dayton and the Hawks. They knew it was going to be kind of a struggle this year. They only had 8 starters returning, so they're going through the growing pains. You got to go through this to get to the next level. So, better days are ahead for Charlotte Latin. Might be time to start paying a little attention to the Mooresville Blue Devils. They beat West Rowan tonight, 48-7 to move to 3-0. Man, Coach Joe Nixon, he's got those Blue Devils playing well. Nixon used to coach at West Rowan for many years as head coach, and he was an assistant under the late Scott Young. West is struggling this year as they are 0-3. It's still early, but it's looking like Mooresville and Lake Norman are headed towards a battle for the Greater Metro 4A title on the last game of the season, or in the last game of the season. Lake Norman went to Asheville tonight and won 34-7. The Wildcats defense it's been lights out all season, and tonight they finally brought some offense. A great ball game tonight between Ardrey and Marvin Ridge. The Mavericks get a 3-point win. They move to 3-0. Next Friday, Marvin Ridge is at Lake Norman, and that's going to be one heck of a ball game. Will probably be one of the biggest games of the week in the state, not just in our area, in the entire state. 3-0 versus 3-0. Sun Valley with a big win tonight over Myers Park, 34-33. The Spartans are 3-0. And when you think of the Southern Carolina 4A Conference, the conversation normally starts and ends with Marvin Ridge. But check this out, folks. Marvin Ridge, Cuthbertson, Porter Ridge, Sun Valley, the entire conference basically, all of them are undefeated and 3-0. Weddington ran through that conference last year, but they ain't gonna do no running through no conference this year. They ain't running through this one this year. They will get some challenges, which is gonna make them better when they get to the playoffs. But this is gonna be one of the more interesting battles this year, the Southern Carolina 4A Conference. How about a score from South Carolina? Chester beat Fairfield Central 24-0 to go to 3-0. These two used to be region rivals when they were both in 3A. Fairfield is not in 3A anymore. They're not in the same classification anymore. So, but it was good to see them playing again. Chester gets the win tonight. Coach Floyd, he's got those Cyclones playing well. Next Friday, Chester is at South Point Rock Hill. South Point lost tonight to Gaffney, so they're not going to be in a good mood. So the Chesters better bring it next week in Rock Hill at the District 3 Stadium South. Now, let's get to this final score. Chambers won tonight. That's not the big story in this one. Yeah, they blew them out. Cam, I want you to enlighten the people on what Glenn did tonight that probably got them to get this kind of beat down, because they got beat down because they did something. They made a boo-boo that I've never heard of.
Now, here's the thing, Nate. I still consider myself a bit of a young gun when it comes to covering high school football. I've only been doing this for maybe 5 seasons, but I've never in my life seen or heard about what happened in this game. I have from a reliable source. This game got postponed to 8 o'clock. It was supposed to kick off at 7, got postponed to 8, because get this, Glenn didn't have their pads, is what I was told. They either the equipment bus didn't get there on time, they got left behind at the school somehow. I don't quite know how that happens, but they didn't have their pads, and so they had to postpone the game, and you lose 41-0. Maybe they should have just left the pads.
No, look, I played varsity football for 4 years. I've been around this game a long time. I've never heard of a team leaving their pads. Normally, you bring your pads on the bus with you. So you dress out, you have your pants on, and you carry your shoulder pads and your helmet with you on the bus. Normally, that's how it goes. Chambers was already kind of upset because they got punked last week by Benedictine in the week 1, the Benedictine from Savannah. So they lost at home. So they were already pretty upset. And then Glenn comes without their pads and pushes the game back an hour. Man, y'all, ooh, boy. I mean, like I did. Coach probably didn't have to say anything. He's like, all right, guys, we about to lay it on them. And they laid it on them.
Now for Glenn, you think they're going to be running in practice on Monday?
I don't know why. Whose fault? Who left the pads? I don't know. How do you leave your pads? Like the entire team left their pads? Like, what are we doing here, folks? What are we doing here? So we just had to get to that real quick. We had to get rid of it. Also, one thing that I noticed in your highlights tonight, Independence. Y'all see this big eye? They weren't on the helmets tonight. And I've never been to an Independence game where there were not eyes on the helmet. So I don't know if there was a message this week from Coach McFadden to the team where he said, y'all haven't earned the right to have that eye. You know, they lost in week 1. Last week, they put it on Hickory Ridge. They scored 75 points.
26-point win.
You know, and tonight they played well. But that was just kind of – I'd be interested need to talk to Coach McFadden, see why wasn't the eye on this helmet? Because this thing is iconic. All these helmets, you know, a lot of these teams changed their helmets. As long as I've been here, this has been the constant. This helmet is old. You see that? We got this a long time ago. This is tradition. This is tradition over there in Mint Hill, and that eye was not on there. So if there was a message delivered by McFadden after week 1, they got it. Yeah, they got it. They scored 75 points. They were on the brink of winning tonight until they let a receiver get behind them and, you know, over the top of them, scored a game-winning touchdown, 21-20. Independence is playing well. I got a feeling that there was a message sent to the team, and I think and he wanted to get their attention by taking that eye and saying, y'all need to earn the right to have this because this is tradition. So I think it served them well. I hope to see the eye again because I think they kind of earned it. Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see if they might not have the eye anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. So I was talking with Coach McFadden today, and I kind of asked him about, you know, last year we talked a lot about the big eye being back, right? And not to say that they took people by surprise, but they definitely reasserted themselves back in the conversation. And I asked him today, do you feel like you're getting a little bit more respect? Do you feel like teams are kind of coming at you a little bit more since you're not really sneaking up on anybody this year? And he thinks for sure, but he also said, you know, this team hasn't done anything. You know, last year's team, they were proud of what they did. They definitely, you know, took some steps forward. But he says this year's team, it's been 2 weeks, this 2023 team has not done anything. So maybe I need to ask him and get some confirmation on if the removal of the eye was a message or, you know, maybe like Glenn, they had some equipment malfunction. Who knows? Maybe the eyes got left behind. Who knows? It might have been a message, but I'll tell you what, West Charlotte sent a message tonight with the way they've been playing. Incredibly impressed by the defense there. The offense got a little stagnant in some points. We saw one of the touchdowns there was from the defense turning over a fumble and running it back. The offense scored in the beginning, they scored in the end. In the middle, they got to get a little bit more consistent. The run game didn't do too much. They got to get more consistent in the passing game. I know they have a young quarterback, KD Smith, is a sophomore. He's an incredible athlete. They're still trying to get him kind of caught up to speed, it feels like. But I'll tell you what, if that defense keeps doing what that defense has been doing, West Charlotte, I mean, 3-0 says enough right there. They're a team we got to pay attention to.
Teams are starting to separate themselves, and we're starting to figure out who the main characters are. And if you look at the standings and you look who's 3-0, we've already talked about the Southern Carolina 4A. You just look for the teams that are 3-0. Those are the teams that are kind of separating themselves, and it's starting to rise to the top. And we'll get a good sense of who these teams are after next week. It'll be a full month in, 4 weeks. And you're going to know. We're going to know right now. We're about to find out who those real teams are, the teams to beat. West Charlotte certainly looks like one of those teams to beat. They're in that tough conference. They're a 3A school and a 4A conference. But I do believe West Charlotte can hang with the Mallard Creeks and the Chambers this year. So it's going to be that conference there is going to be very interesting to see as they try to compete and win that conference. And then what will they do because if they get, for West Charlotte, to me, well, they're going to get that number 1 seed from the 3A side of it anyway. That's just the way the state does that. But if they can that West Charlotte team, I know Coach Griner has got to be just like, yeah, we got something. We're cooking with grease right now. But we got to keep it going. Let's not get a big head about things, and let's keep it going. So,
and then, well, the exciting thing for them too is the youth you see there.
Yes,
you
absolutely.
Talk about KD Smith, the quarterback who's a sophomore. Coach Griner was also telling me today they've got 3 freshmen starting that are contributing, and so the fact that you've got that kind of youth, they got some veteran experience mixed in as well, but they got some young kids on this team, and they're 3-0. So you got to think, the trajectory for that team is only pointing in one direction. Talk about Mallard Creek. That's who they got next week to open up conference play. And also speaking of Mallard Creek, you look at just how tough they've been playing this season. So on the flip side, Independence, you lose 2 games to two really good teams. I'm not worried about the Big Eye yet by any means. A 1-2 start might look a little funky, but I mean Coach McFadden was saying something else. They scored more points against Mallard Creek than Buford did. We talked about last week how Mallard Creek played Buford so tough, number 6 team in the country. They scored 10 points. So Independence, played a little bit better than Buford did against Mallard Creek. So it's, two really good teams here, and just want to, again, shout out Independence. I know it was a tough loss. And also, we talk about the rivalry there. The handshake after between Griner and McFadden I thought was really cool. It was all love. They're wishing each other a lot of luck. And it's really cool to see those two teams, play intense and play passionate, but, still have a great respect for each other by the end of it.
Yeah, we'll talk about one more team in that same conference. Huff tonight, they beat Dutch Fork 20-17. Ladies and gentlemen, Dutch Fork is now 0-3. Now, we talked about Independence, former head coach Tom Knotts down at Dutch Fork.
Yep.
They were, 2015 was the last time they were 0-2. I don't know when the last time they were 0-3, and it had to be probably before Tom Knotts got there. So
easily before then.
A lot of, I'll put it to you like this: get your swings in now, because Dutch Fork is going to be back. But that's a pretty big win for Huff to go down there to win in Columbia. Nolan Hauser, he's a Clemson commit kicker. Kicked 2 field goals tonight. He ties the national high school career record. He has 56 career field goals, so he ties that record in a national record. So pretty impressive thing for him right there. And of course, he's going to Clemson. But as a team, that's a big win for Huff. For them to rebound from the way they looked in week 1 against Burns, and now they're starting to, and that's another team that's young. As they continue to play these tough teams, you go to Dutch Fork. I don't care if they are 0-2. You go to Dutch Fork and you win. That's nothing. That's a confidence builder. I don't care if they got a young quarterback. He's struggling. Dutch Fork is barely averaging 100 yards per game offensively. You go down there and you win. That builds confidence, especially with a young team like they've got. Huff is going to be there too. So you got Huff, you got Mallard Creek, you got Chambers, you got West Charlotte. That conference, North Meck is nothing to sneeze at this year either. They're pretty good too. They were off this week. They beat Olympic. Olympic had a great game tonight. They barely pulled it out against West Cabarrus. We got a lot going on. So my head's kind of spinning because tonight was it was kind of a defining week. A lot of teams really kind of stepped up, and I think it's going to be that way next week. In week 4, you're a month in. Folks, the teams start to win. We're really about to find out what this season is truly going to be. I'm excited. If you can't tell, I'm excited about it because this is the time where we really begin to figure out some things.
It's an exciting time, and I got to say, just back to Dutch Fork, I covered them for 3 years when I was working in Columbia. I never thought in my life I would see that team start 0-3. So, and again, great win for Huff. Talk about first-year head coach Deshaun Baker. That's a win that, again, you just build off of and take moving forward. So, we're about to get into the teeth of conference play now. So, it really starts to get real in the next week moving forward.
Yeah. One more thing. I know I can do this all night, folks. But shout out to private school football, Providence Day, Charlotte Christian. Once again, they beat 2 public schools today. So now between those 2 teams, they've got 6 wins against some pretty good public schools that are larger than them. So this whole notion of, can a private school beat a public school? Can they hang with them? Did you see what Providence Day did to Catholic tonight? Charlotte Christian, went toe-to-toe with South Point tonight and beat them. And it was a heck of a ball game. And South Point is going to be, we don't talk about them a lot in the 3A. They're going to be a good 3A team. That conference there, the Big South Conference with Crest and Kings Mountain, South Point, those 3 are going to be doing some battle because if South Point can throw the ball like I saw tonight and run that red bone offense where it's hard to prepare for that. Now, those teams they played them year in and year out, but if they throw the wrinkle of the pass, it's like what Charlotte Catholic was doing these last few years. You throw the pass in there, it's hard to stop an option team if they can fake that dive and just hit you with a quick pass and the guys running down the sea. And that's what they did tonight. And I was very impressed with South Point tonight. But shout outs to the private schools, man. Charlotte Christian, Providence Day, and they play in about a month or so. That's going to be a big game too. So we got a lot going on, a lot of good football. Congratulations to Rock Hill tonight. Got a win. We got a lot. We got a lot, man. I love this time of year. And tomorrow we get college football.
You have no idea. Well, when I walked out the door today, Nate, there was a little breeze in the air. It was in the 70s. Like you feel fall in the air. And we get to wake up, college game day here in the city. We got a big-time matchup, South Carolina, North Carolina. We got a full slate of games. I mean, what else could you ask for,
hey,
man?
It's football, man. It is back, man.
Yeah.
Football, I missed you. But you're back. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, folks, that's it. That's all the time we have for Football Friday night. Join us again next week for the best high school football highlight show in our area. We call it Football Friday night. Y'all have a good weekend. See you next Friday.